later that afternoon, we had a meeting in Storm Lake. Pocahontas County, Ida County, Buena Vista County, Sac County supervisors were, and we met with Windstream Investment Group that's looking at building a high-speed transmission line for direct current electricity generated from future wind farms. And I feel comfortable, talking about it in public, because that night on the Channel 4 News, there were a lot of the things that were said at the meeting were made public. This is the second time that our board's been in contact with the company, and I don't know if I can do an accurate job. This company they're in the transportation business of transporting electricity from high transmission lines, and in broad strokes, their proposal is about a $2 billion project, and they want to collect energy that's generated from wind farms in northwest Iowa, South Dakota, northeast South Dakota, southeast South Dakota, northeast Nebraska, within a 100-mile radius hub. And the lines will come into this collector, and that collector converts it alternating current to direct current. Okay, right? Mm-hmm. And then this line will travel from, say, the Sioux City area, across Iowa, probably exiting Iowa around the Davenport area, approximately, and proceed into central Illinois to another station, at which point it will be converted from direct current to alternating current, and then dispersed into the grid. Questions were asked. Anyway, we sat down in small groups and talked about some of the inherent characteristics of Sac County, and they're trying to figure out, if they get regulatory approval, how to route a line through Western Iowa.
The reason they're changing from AC to DC, and they said it's much easier to transport to DC, and then they transport to DC and then change it again back to AC, rather than going through AC lines.
It takes way less infrastructure,
yeah,
for poles, and to carry a much higher level of energy. So they're trying to determine the route, and the good thing, the positive thing for wind energy is that, like in northwest Iowa, they're maxed out as far as what they can handle, the transmission, and this would allow an opportunity of quite a few more wind towers to be built on the western side of the state, and into Nebraska and South Dakota.
and it should all be on single poles rather than the big double poles, one taken near the space for the transmission line to go through.
Yeah, if they get regulatory approval, it could be 5 years before the project's complete. They make a point that, like Jack was saying, that a lot of wind farms, sometimes they shut down because the grid can't accept the electricity that's being generated. They make that point, and then someone asked if, like an existing field by the Carroll area, or an existing field in the Shaler area that's been developed and has agreements, if they would have access to this system. And they didn't really give to me, it wasn't a black and white answer.
No, it was all to negotiation.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be available to them if they
Yeah.
could work out an arrangement. That was the answer, I guess.
Wouldn't the AC all go to Sioux City? My understanding is
Yeah.
that converted it to Sioux City.
Yeah.
Therefore, they're gonna be a big, some type of
And they said kind of
change.
within 100 miles of Sioux City. They really didn't say for sure it would be in Sioux City, but would be within 100 miles of Sioux City.
And
Would be that area.
it might not be used exclusively for wind-generated electricity. They wouldn't go that far and say that. They claim it's cheaper to send coal all the way across Iowa, basically to central Illinois, and convert coal to electricity than it would be to put coal-fired electricity on this grid. So there's going to be more talk about that, because there's probably a pretty good chance it might go through somewhere. It's got to get from Sioux City to Davenport, if it's approved.
And part of the other interest was not only for allowing more grid space, but the service and building capabilities that go along with wind energy. You know, that's all pretty much in eastern Iowa, and it wouldn't have to be if they were able to build more fields. So.
A little bit
See what
unusual or
happens.
different, that, from point A to point B somewhere in Illinois, nobody's going to be able to tap into it.